We do have a proverb coming up. Let me see if I can pull up the proverb. Welcome. Where am I at? Welcome, Jim. Jim, we're gonna let you introduce us tonight on this live broadcast over the next 30 minutes. We're gonna let you do the introduction tonight by way of Tucson, Arizona. By the way, we do want to welcome those of you that are watching, that are hanging out with us tonight by way of Facebook, the gambling group on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Welcome, partner, guest, first-time viewer, third-time viewer. We're going to have Jim here all the way from Tucson, Arizona. I'm in Stockton, California, founder of the Soldiers of Self-Mastery movement since 2016. So tonight's topic is, let me give you the topic and then you can get us going there, Jim.
Okay.
Tonight's topic is anyone interested anymore? Is anyone interested anymore? So have at it. We have somebody watching by way of somewhere. I'm not sure. Welcome. But go ahead, Jim. Give us your view, because I did write that on here today on my notes. And then we're going to read the Psalm, the Proverb. But I said Jim's view. We got to get Jim's side here. But it's actually Jim's view.
Yeah, so the topic is anyone interested anymore? And to put it into context, we're talking about interested in, keeping up the fighting against addiction, tackling addiction, confronting the addiction. Is anyone
stopping the lottery? Yeah.
So, my take on it is our ability to go out and see ourselves. What's our identity? What's our identity? How do we see ourselves? Do we see ourselves as a capable individual to go out and tackle? Do we see any hope? Do we see any light? Do we see any way to go ahead and beat this enemy of addiction? And, it's interesting because I think that people see themselves, I believe, in front of a backdrop. And that backdrop, I believe, is created through many experiences, many events in a person's life that probably was negative, very negative. And they see themselves against that negative backdrop. And that's how they see themselves, That's how they see themselves, in contrast to what happened in the past, failures, and all those failures seem to be illuminated, bright, big in the mind of the person who's struggling.
The wall of shame.
Right, the wall of shame, and they can't see anything else. They can't see anything else. So they're comparing themselves to that backdrop, and they say, you know what, this is a hopeless case. Why even try? I don't see myself. My identity is garbage. I don't see myself in any position to beat this addiction, beat this demon.
Have they all gone down? Have they all gone down the tubes?
Yeah,
have they all gone down the tubes. By the way, once again, I want to welcome those of you that are visiting for the first time. If you're visiting for the first time, leave a like, a share. Turn down distractions, hang out with us, ask a question, like, share, leave a comment. If you're not subscribed to this permanent no gambling zone community, I would recommend that you subscribe, turn your notifications to all. When we come live on Sundays and Wednesdays, you're welcome to join us. You can come on the camera. I know that you're not chicken, because we should be all human beings. You're welcome to join us on the camera, though. As long as you're a human being, you are a human being. You're no chicken. Anyhow, tonight's topic, where Jim's bringing this up here a little bit. Tonight's topic is anyone interested? Is anyone interested? Are there any left? Have they all fallen by the way?
I'm wondering about the idea of being put through the fire. Being put through the fire. I mean, getting down to rock bottom. Um,
Just being broken,
being
smashed against the waves, just smashing you, battering you like a
through
like
the grinder. I mean, it's like
like yeah.
being put into some situation where
In
I
order
mean,
to change,
you can't. I mean, you either sink or swim. There is no other way. And I'm wondering, oftentimes we don't, a lot of people are not put into that position. Fortunately or unfortunately, I don't, probably unfortunately,
yeah,
because, that status quo, that comfort zone,
that's
that
deep.
kind of plateau, right? It doesn't inspire a person to go out and change, doesn't inspire a person to start kicking and fighting and clawing. And, well,
Maybe it's we've had it too easy, huh? Maybe, but we all suffer though. That's the thing. Even though you may think sometimes I think that of myself. It's like you. Maybe I haven't had it that hard, right? But then I look at my life and I say, man, I've had it hard in many areas. I just wasn't aware. I was being ignorant, or for some reason, I wasn't aware of that challenge, of that difficulty that I was going through. By the way, this is episode number 364. Did I get that right? Yeah. Episode 364. So you're welcome to take some notes and some POIs. You're welcome to join us. You're welcome to ask a question. I see a couple of visitors here. Thank you for visiting. So come on in, make sure you turn down your distractions just for a little bit and enjoy the experience. Race. Go ahead, Jim.
yeah, I think about like stocks or cryptocurrency. You
364.
have a stock or cryptocurrency that crashes. You lost a lot of money, and it kind of plateaus in a little valley, and you get used to it. It's like, well, I didn't lose everything,
Yeah.
not that bad, So I mean, you get used to. It's like you lost a lot of money, but you're kind of at that plateau. It's like, well, I'm not losing any more, but you don't
Yeah.
change. You don't pull yourself out, and then you crash even more, until everything is gone, you know. So I mean, yeah, we get used to the crap that we sink into. We can get used to the garbage that we sink into, and that, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's not good, because that's our identity. That's the what we know. That's our backdrop. We start kind of molding that into our identity, who we are. It's like, yeah, yeah, I'm in crap, but I'm used to it. I'm used to it. This is who I am. And it just kind of sucks you into a pit.
I wonder, Jim, I used to see a lot of gamblers on here. Um, there was a lot of, well, I'm not going to say they were all gamblers. They would come on the broadcast, and that's why I said, have they all fallen by the wayside? Are they all gone? How many of us are left?
Mhm.
How many of us are left that are willing to continue to struggle, uh, win, lose, win,
It's
lose,
almost like
win? And
it's like you got to go ahead, and it's almost like
let me
risking.
get the proverb. Let me get the proverb, and then we're going to get your thought. We're going to get the proverb here real quick, because if not, I'm going to forget this, and I got to get this in here. And this is today's proverb is 112:5. I really like this proverb, 112:5. If I can find it here. It says, "A good man showeth favor and lendeth. He will guide his affairs with discretion. Surely he shall not be moved forever. The righteous shall be an everlasting remembrance. He shall not be afraid of evil tidings, I really like that. His heart is fixed, trusting in the Lord, trusting in truth, trusting in something solid, trusting in something that's real, trusting in something that you has a hold on you and you have a hold of. It's not too many things today that you can say that about. There's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of confusion. You can't trust. In some cases, you can't really trust too many people, and it's just you. I'm not going to let that affect me.
How do you get to the point where you can trust yourself?
Yeah.
When you have fallen so many times. I mean, it's a part
Yeah.
of your identity, you know.
Yeah.
The person who falls, the guy who loses, who tries and fails, can't get anything right, you
We
know.
got to keep going. We got to keep
I mean,
getting it. What happens if you stop failing? Then you're going to be winning, 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 winning. Is that possible? That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Right? Win every day. You win every day. Now you can think positive in your mind, right? Oh, I win every day. And I do that, but that's not real. You have to be
it
willing
is
to
real, you know.
see reality and that we live in a yin yang world, sin and light, righteousness and darkness.
It's like a lens, you know. It's like, what lens are we looking at there? You talk about, I see myself winning every day, you know.
Hmm.
I see that's a lens right there, right? Some
Yeah.
people say I lose every day. This is how I see myself.
And some people don't say that. They're living it.
They're
They don't
living
even
it.
have to say it. It's just a life. It's like it oozes like pus. Or maybe I shouldn't say that. Like a really horrible sore that oozes something out.
Yeah, I mean, it does take like
They're horrible.
it's almost like you're risking your life when you take a chance on yourself. You're risking your life. It's like you're putting yourself into a very, very dangerous position. I mean, of embarrassment, of failure, of seeing yourself once again failing, you
It's the
know,
real gamble.
not
It,
meeting the mark, you know.
it's actually the true gamble.
That's a gamble that a lot of people, you don't want to take.
Hmm.
Putting money, putting time, putting effort, putting thought, putting confidence in themselves
Yeah.
because, based upon their past experiences. How do you get out of that funk? How do you? I mean, I think that's the secret right there that
You
everyone wants to know.
you
How
you
can
got it.
I?
You don't give up on yourself. That's the thing. You don't give up on yourself. As hard as it is to say that, uh, I mean, it's easy said because most people give up, right? They
People
give up. They just give up and they just fall away. They fall deeper down into another from one abyss to another abyss.
Yeah.
If, if you're hanging on and you're looking up and you can see where you're headed, you can see your mistakes, you can eventually correct yourself. It's where you can't, where you're completely blinded. It's hard when you're completely blinded by LBs or FTs or bad ST, bad self-talk, what have you.
Yeah.
It's
Some people feel,
difficult to correct yourself. It's difficult to find the first step.
yeah. And like, do people have the patience of tackling because they feel that they're overwhelmed? I think there's just so much that's weighted on their shoulders, and they feel that they don't have the capability, but there's so much on their shoulders, you
That's
know.
how you feel when you're alone, Jim. When you're alone, that's how you feel.
Hmm.
But when you have allies, I think about the United States and some of these other third world countries. Can I call them third world countries that depend on the United States? I mean, when push comes to shove, I don't know what the United States, we know what they're capable of. Going forward is might be a little sketchy. I don't know. I know that we provide good support, and so I guess what I'm trying to say is that there needs to be a support system in your life somewhere. Somehow, some way, there needs to be some kind of a support system, a system of accountability. When you don't have accountability, boredom sets in, mistakes. Uh, you tend to really focus on your wall of shame.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, when you talk about support system, I think people get that confused with, like charity. I mean, having other people do things for them, and that's actually not how a person gets stronger.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, I mean, like people ask, "Can you do this for me? Can you do that for me?" It just makes a person weaker. You know, it's the
yeah.
burden that has to be carried on that one person's shoulders. How do they go ahead and get the strength? Where did they go ahead and manifest that strength so that they can go ahead and take that burden, and start
Yeah.
lifting it up? I guess you can say that
Well,
if
most of us are beat down, Jim.
yeah.
Most of us are beat down, and we're beat down, and we, like you said earlier, we have a way of seeing things, right? We have a map, like a GPS system that we operate with. We navigate. We're in the world. We respond. We react. We conversate. We don't conversate. We listen. We watch. We eat. We taste. We bathe. We put on. We take off. It's all in a map system that we have. Like you can put on a pair of glasses. I've got a pair of dark glasses. Hold on. Maybe this will help me. We, we have a you have a pair of, we're all like wearing a pair of spectacles. So you wear, it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna see something different now. And everybody's operating under the assumption of some kind of a spectacle, some kind of a glasses they're wearing. And that's how you see what's on the other side, right? You see, it may not necessarily, it will reflect what's going on inside. Not necessarily. If you take off your glasses, right, and you put on a different set of glasses, that's like optimizing your mindset, optimizing your emotional intelligence, optimizing your self-talk, optimizing your mind mouth power congruency. Because most people, we know, Jim, they have it running backwards. And then, like you said, we ask ourselves the wrong questions most of the time. We ask ourselves the wrong questions. So therefore, we're going to get the wrong answer. Mind mouth power congruency needs to be going forward somehow. It needs to be driving you. It needs to be pulling you. It needs to be full of vision. How do we create all that is the question. What's going to inspire us to change the way we talk, the way we even the way we sit down. I could sit here in my chair like this, and I give you guys some kind of an impression, right? And this will probably hurt my back too, but you sit up straight, and it does something to you. It changes your mood. It changes your emotion. And most of the time, we're like this. You know, we're like that most of the time. And man, how do you get yourself up and get yourself focused and ready to
Uh,
find the first step, right? All you need is one step forward, just one.
yeah, I was thinking about, are we capable, but we're just not in the right place or position or situation? Think about like a person who's crippled and in a wheelchair, who's living in a rocky, craggy environment. That person would be doing a lot better, on flat pavement.
Well,
you know, but this person has lived their life in the rocky area and they're afraid of changing and moving because that's all they know. That's all they know. But their life would be much better if they changed their position. But they're afraid to change. They're afraid to lose the people that they know, that they hung around. They're afraid to give up what they're used to. So they stay in that environment where their ability to move around, it's nothing. It's a horrible existence. They can't move around, falling over, trying to
it's
push
a
that
state
wheel.
of trauma. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's where a lot of us are. I mean, it's like think about this. Let's say that you know, you're in a job, you know, you're miserable at the job. You don't get along with the people, you know, things are not going well. And you know, it's like, well, I gotta have this job. I gotta have this job. When you can go out and be doing something somewhere else that's more in line with your skills and your desires and what you like. But no, 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 no. You know, this is what I'm used to. This is what I know. And we hang on to certain things.
Yeah, it's a trauma bond. It's a form of bondage. It's yeah, and it has a lot to do with it has a lot to do with who what our foundation was like.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I tend to it's easy. You can find who you are if you look at your life and you begin to really look at yourself, you study yourself, you listen to yourself, and you do all of these wonderful things. It's almost frightening. By the way, shout out to Facebook once again, LinkedIn, and YouTube.
Do you
Well,
remember,
you
Santos, what you said?
you
You have
see,
to die to yourself. You have to die to self. I remember you said something about dying to self. You have to die in order to go ahead and, you know,
yeah, you have to you have to be able to see um you know, it's really weird that sometimes you'll see persons in your life, your behavior, you'll see individuals that were in your life. Somehow they became prominent. And it wasn't something that they said. Maybe it not necessarily something because that's why we can sit here and talk till we're blue, right? Or well, we'll never become blue unless we run out of air, I guess. It's really about it's about what we see, what you know, what we've seen. You know, and you said this earlier, who are we? You know, who am I? What have I become? We could look at things in our lives where we say, wow, this is very deep because I'm acting like so and so. You know, I'm acting like my dad, I'm acting like my mom, or I'm acting like my brother. And it's very deep. That's why we sometimes, you know, we wonder about change, you know, and we're doing something, but necessarily it may not be killing you, but it's hurting you. And you do want to get away from it, but you don't focus on it enough. I believe that's why it's so important to belong to a community or have someone that is willing to look you in the face and tell you the truth, right? I mean, I can sit here and talk to you over the video, over the camera, and stuff like that. But if we were in person, it would be a different energy. And we don't have the accountability. We lack accountability. We lack vision. We lack trust. And it's because we've been burned. We've been kicked down. We've been hurt so much. We've been let down that it's almost difficult. It's like an LB. It's like a limited belief today, and it's right there again. It's the spectacles that we're wearing, right? I can't see very well on the other side. It's hard for me to really deal with money right now because I have dark lens and I can easily be ripped off, you know, and I don't trust too many people, and I'm not going to go out there, you know. I'll go out there during the day, etc., because it, the world seems dark to me out there, right? This is my mindset and my trauma, your trauma, if you will. That makes sense. So
yes.
we somehow, some way, we're going to have to take the spectacle off. However, that's done. That's the key right there.
Yeah, it's like once again, I think about the devil you know is better than the devil that you don't know. The spectacles you have that you're wearing. It's like my life is horrible right now, but I know my life, and I don't know what's going to happen if I take these spectacles off and put new ones on. In other words, change my life. I mean, I don't know. I don't have very much confidence in my abilities.
Yeah.
So if I do change, I think I'll just plunge even deeper. So I'm going to go and hang on to these spectacles, my original spectacles. I'm going to go on and hang on to my horrible life because I'm used to it. I understand it. And that's all that I know. And
Yeah.
I don't think anything is going to get better if I change. So I'm going to hang on to what I know.
Yeah. It's the comfort. That's the feel good zone. The dopamine injection has you there. That dopamine has you there in that environment. And maybe, again, if you don't know what it is that you truly want, it's hard to move forward. You know, you're complacent, you stay right where you are. The pain isn't too bad, you know. Huh,
You
That's not
get
too bad.
used to the
It's not too
destruction.
bad. Um,
Get used to
it
the
could be worse.
destruction. You get used to the destruction, you know, you lower your value of yourself, which in turn makes you do more destructive things, because you don't care about yourself, which brings
Yeah.
you down even more, which gives you even less desire or reason to go ahead and pull yourself out until you die, commit suicide, whatever, get run over, get hit by a train, like,
Or die a slow. Most men are they're dying. Is it, what do they say? It's um, quiet desperation.
living lives in quiet desperation.
Yeah, quiet desperation. And you know, it's really difficult. That's why I say sometimes you just don't know. You don't know what to do, except for, I would say in that point is pray and ask God. If I don't know what to do anymore, that's what I do. I get my journal. I start journaling. God, I don't know what to do here. I'm at this junction. I've got these things I have to make a decision upon. I'm struggling, what have you. And there's a release there. In the journal, there's a release. So that's a form of therapy, right? Prayer, it's another form of therapy, real therapy. Confessing, ST, your self talk. It's all therapeutic when you do it. And you just got to know how to really talk to yourself most of the time too. You really have to learn how to really talk to yourself most of the time to keep yourself in that loop of fighting.
Yeah.
Loop, you're staying in the game. Well, I did this right yesterday. I did this right last week, or I did this right last year. Okay, let me draw some strength from that. Let me keep going. Let me keep going. Let me keep going. And you just keep going, and you have good talks with yourself. I know the last couple of days, I had some really good talks with myself. Sometimes, man, you just need a really good talk. And we need people to remind us.
Yeah.
That's why we have, I'm kind of grateful for this community. We can come together for an hour, 45 minutes on Wednesdays and Sundays, and we can remind each other there's always room for improvement, right? Your good life is going to come through a good series of good, constant, positive reminders. Isn't that the truth?
We got to
Always,
practice, right? We have to practice.
yeah,
Be-
there's always room for improvement within room for improvement. Isn't that the truth?
It's
Right?
refinement. It's, getting to the point where it's second nature. I mean, having negative feelings, negative thoughts, and becoming aware. Anytime they pop up, you tell yourself, this is coming from the devil. Devil wants to go and take me down. And that's not me. It's just the devil. It's the demons trying to pull me down, and I'm going to fight it. It's not me. It's just these awful, evil powers that are just trying to go and bring me down. And I said, no, I'm not going to let it. It's not me. It's not my abilities. It's not who I am. I can go ahead and choose to say, no, I'm not accepting these feelings. I'm not accepting these negative self-talks, these negative self-thoughts. I know where it's coming from, and I don't accept it. And if we keep on telling ourselves that, encouraging ourselves, making ourselves think in the right direction, and it's going to get easier. It's going to get easier.
What's it going to profit? What is this thing going to profit me?
Mm-hmm.
Right? What's this thing going to profit me?
Right.
Not why am I doing this?
Right.
That's not a good question to ask. A great question to ask is, what is this? What is this going to profit? What is this going to yield? What kind of a harvest is this going to give me? Will it be 2 years from now? Will it be this week? Will it be today?
We're always going to be doing something, we're going to be either chasing or we're going to be avoiding. It's going to be one of those things. Every action, every thought, we're going to be chasing something or we're going to be avoiding something.
Yep. He says, Ray says we're being influenced subconsciously to place bets. Every way that we can think of, we're being moved subconsciously in some way. I'm obviously trying to do that too, right? I'm sitting here trying to move somebody subconsciously, but where you got to see where the motive is, right? Where's my motive?
Mm-hmm.
Where am I trying to move you on the other side? A lot of people trying to move you on the other side. A lot of maybe, I'm not going to say a lot of people. Maybe there's a few key people. Technology is trying to move you in some direction.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Your job, your business is trying to move you in some direction. Gambling is also motivated to move you that are watching and paying attention. Also, when we're not accountable to and I'll say, I'll say this because it's truth. I am a certified life coach. It's cost me quite a bit to get to where I am, right? To get to this headspace where I am. I know that I can help gamblers that are not in the right headspace. It doesn't take me long to sit with a problem gambler that wants to become free. See, just because you want to become free doesn't mean that it's going to happen. You may need a coach. You may need a counselor. You may need a community. Oh, Santos, I'm a Lone Ranger. Who was that Lone Ranger? The guy that played on the Cowboys and Indians?
Yeah.
The Lone Ranger had somebody, didn't he?
Tonto.
Tonto. So the Lone Ranger. So you could be the Lone Ranger. You still need a Tanto or maybe a Coach Santo. There you go. But I make myself available to those that want it. I know coaching is not for everybody. That's a fact. One-on-one personalized coaching is a very, very it's an accountability that not too many people are willing to manage or go through. So I do my best to make myself out here available through video, through community, and through the word of mouth to tell you that gambling is a big fat lie. By the way, this is episode number 364. We're almost done. We're almost gone. A few more minutes. I'm looking for questions. I'm looking for a statement, a comment. a share, a like, a subscription. Go ahead, Jim. You had some thought.
Yeah.
Legacy mindset. Thank you there.
Yeah. When is the pain too great? I wonder if you have to go through too much pain, or you can go ahead and start seeing some type of light, some type of possibility. That comes in the imagination. And I still think that we just hang on to our old ways because we're just so familiar with them. Those old ways aren't good for us, but we like to hang on to them.
We're deceived because it's painful, right? So we're deceived. So is the other direction painful too.
Yeah, learning, doing
But we're
something.
holding on to the greater pain.
Mhm.
That's deception. We're holding on to the greater pain. We don't see that because we've already injected ourselves to become numb,
Mhm. Yeah,
right?
it's like that monkey, right? The African tribesmen, catch those monkeys by putting peanuts in a little hole, in a wooden log, right? They go ahead and try to snatch the peanut, and their fist is too big, right, to go out and come out of the hole.
Yeah.
Here comes the tribesman, right? But the monkey is just so hanging on to that peanut, you know, that he's going to go and lose his life because he's hanging on so hard to that thing instead of
Yeah.
just letting it go.
The temper, the blindness, because once he gets his hands through that, there's other animals too that they get caught up, they get in there and then they can't get out. Like well, rats are like that too, isn't it? Rats, and but then they stick to the pad, I guess. The bugs, they go into that. But they get in there. Even a cat sometimes, like you look at a cat, it's a big cat, and it's, how the heck does it get through the door, underneath the door, or through some of these weird places? The flexibility of the animal. Anyways, how did we go there? How did we get there? Because we're comfortable in the pain. We're comfortable in the funk. Isn't that what it is? We're just sitting there uh, like pigs, happy in the mud.
Hmm. Yeah.
And it's funny though, you see these programs where they take the pig, they clean them up. They look really good. The pig looks really good out of the mud. When it's not in the mud, but given the chance, it goes right back. It'll always go to the mud, wouldn't it? A cleaned up pig,
Hmm.
or it'll just stay clean.
Yeah. And that could be
Unless it has accountability. See, that's the only way. You got to have accountability. You got to have a community. You got to have upkeep. Because we're kind of like pigs. We just will roam.
yeah. We got to go ahead and we got to remind ourselves, right? That's the only way we can go and help ourselves. We have to remind ourselves what's right, and we can help
Brandon.
others so we can go and
Yep.
help ourselves.
Yep. Yeah. Well, looks like we've got about another 5-6 minutes left of the broadcast. And we've shared the message through the airwaves. We've done what we can to encourage those of you that are still watching that gambling is a big fat lie. So is lottery, so is sports betting, so is online casino betting. What else? You can bet on roosters, you can bet on dogs, horses. What else can you bet on? You can bet on turtles. Gambling in the lottery is just expanded into many different ways. Brand new lover. All right, there we go. So, by the way, gambling is a big fat lie. Reminds me of how Eskimos dip a blade in seal blood and freeze it multiple times, makes the wolf lick it with a numb tinge. The wolf dies from bleeding. Wow. Yep. Can't feel the pain it's doing to itself. Yep. That's a gnarly one right there.
Says Brandon, new lover, says that is he at rock bottom
Looks like he's
in a motel? Well, I mean, I think you're starting to go ahead and come to some kind of awareness. It's like something's not right here. Something is not right.
yeah.
Am I happy in this situation? What's my trajectory? What's my trajectory? Which way am I going?
Well, you're not out in the street completely. You're still in a hotel. That's a positive thing. You got a branch from there, buddy. You got a branch from there. You got to launch from there. You got to figure out a way. You got to figure out a way. You got to figure out a way. There's a way too. As long as we're in the United States, man, if we're in the United States, Jiminy splits, we can make something happen. It's hard for me to believe that we can't make, I've been reading a lot of videos. That's why I titled this podcast number 364. I titled it, Is there anyone interested at all? Is there anyone interested anymore? The gamblers are gone. They've fallen by the wayside. I see them here and there. I see a few gamblers, stranglers by the way, here and there, and they leave a comment or they watch part of a video and then they go and they do their thing. And I see this. And I've seen that it's gotten worse over the last 6 months. Maybe because it's summertime too. I think that might have something to do with it. So usually when it's colder, people are inside, they're shut in, they're looking for stuff to do. Gamblers Anonymous, on the airwaves, etc. Addictions Anonymous, Games Anonymous, what have you, YouTube Anonymous. Food is big Anonymous. Again, key to all this, and I'm coming to the conclusion here. I got to do my C2A. Here's my C2A, my call to action, C2A. You have to decide on. You must decide on or about something before it's too late. There's something that you must decide on or about. Whatever it is, there's a decision to be made. And you must make that decision before it's too late. You must make that decision before it's too late. That's my call to action. We're going to be here again on Sunday. We're going to be here on Wednesday, Lord willing, 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Doing our best to think, philosophize. More importantly, for ways to ask better questions, to take action better or action more faster. And the best time to take action would be now. If you're a gambler, the best time to take action is now. While we're still here, while there's still a little bit of inspiration, because once we're gone, this video's gone, there's not going to be that momentum anymore. There's not going to be that accountability for you. You're back to being by yourself again. Lone Ranger. But even the Lone Ranger had Tonto. That's what Jim said, right? I think you said that, Jim.
Tonto. So one thing that you can do to pull yourself up is, what can I do now? What can I do right now that can make a difference? What can I do right now? What can I do right now? Maybe you can stop gambling. Maybe you can go and put down the bottle. Maybe you can go and decide that I'm not going to go ahead and stuff my face with all that fast food until I just pass out. Maybe I can go and stop being so angry at my spouse or my family. Maybe I can go ahead and make an apology to my friends who I yelled at and disrespected. What can I do right now? What's one thing I can go and do right now to kind of shift the momentum? And once you start acting upon that one thing, right? You start gaining some confidence. You start seeing some light. What else can I do? What else can I do? What else can I do right now? Right now. I have the ability. I have 2 working hands, 2 working legs. I'm breathing. I can move. What's one thing I can go and do right now to make a change? Smallest change, smallest change can make a difference. What can I do right now? You just keep on asking yourself after you get that one thing done. What can I do now? What can I do right now? What can I
And
do
write
right
it down. Yeah, you got to make sure you write it down. Sometimes you ask a question and you're just not taking notes, and you just lost your POI. It takes a split second to lose a good thought that you just had. A split second. It happens to me all the time. You got to be prepared. You got to be ready for it. Last words, Jim. Last words, Jim. And I want to say thank you to brand new lover. I'm going to give Jim the last words there because I've already called. I've already given my call to action. So thank you for hanging out, Sugar Bear. Let me see who else was with us. And those of you that played by way of YouTube, LinkedIn, and Bookface, I want to say shout out to you too. Legacy Mindset, Race. We're in the race. City by the Bay. City by the Bay. There we go. All right. And Soldiers of Self-Mastery and Jim all the way from Tucson, Arizona. So we've come to the end of the broadcast, but we're going to be back here. Hopefully, well, who's to say? I don't know. Hopefully you're on the bandwagon with us. Is it the bandwagon or the recovery wagon or the right path, the difficult path, the struggling path?
Back on the straight and narrow.
Yep. Go ahead, Jim. Last few seconds, and then we're gonna head out here.
Yeah, you can always find hope. You can always generate hope by responding to, what's going on in your life, or taking that one bit of action. So do it. Do it. One thing. Turn into another thing and another thing. So you can go out and make that light of hope of a better life, brighter and stronger. And that'll pull you in the right direction to improve your life.
Yeah. All right, folks. With that said, a goodbye to partners, community members, visitors. We'll see you back here Sunday. Remember, Sunday, Lord willing, 7:30 PST. I may be a little bit late. Let me see. Maybe a little bit late, but we went 47 minutes on this broadcast. So will I see you at the top on my next one? Jim, shout out to you there. Take care. We're going to see you here in a couple of days, Lord willing. Stay cool, man.
Okay, have a great week. See you on Sunday.
And let's put some of this into practice, folks. Let's put some of this. What can we put? What's one thing you can do? All right. Bye now.
Take care. Bye-bye.